Welcome to the Year in Review 2014.
The Royal Science Academy have chosen to give the Nobel Prize in Physics 2014 to Isamu Akashi, Meiju University, Japan, and Sui Nakamura, University of California, Santa Barbara, CA, USA, for the invention of effective blue LEDs, which lead to strong energy-poor white lamps.
The Royal Science Academy have chosen to give the Nobel Prize in Chemistry 2014 to Erik Siganella Research Campus, Howard Hughes Medical Institute, Ashburn, BA, USA, Stefan W. Hell, Max Planck Institute for Biological Chemie, Göttingen, and Deutsches Krebsforschungsschulung. Heidelberg, William E. Marner, Stanford University, Stanford, CA, USA, for the high-defined fluorescence microscopy. These are good inventions and will be used every day. It's not an invention to fix any major problems, but it will definitely be useful. And we think these are good inventions too, and it's good that they get attention and get those prizes. Let's just imagine what they can come up with next time.
Ukraine Crimean War 2014, it started with the president ended dealing with EU in order to be closer to Russia. That meant that people begin to demonstrate against the government at Independence Square in Ukraine, will lead to a war. The president flew the same day. In all problems that exist, Russia think that Ukraine will approach EU, so they took the Crimea Island. And there, for the Black Sea bus, there is the only rotate to the Black Sea, so they will not give up it easy.
A lot of people have lost their homes because of Russia and went down and bombed them. And they shut down a plane with around 200 passengers who were specialists in HIV and AIDS research. This is a war that also led to more problems around the world, such as Russia, Germany, USA, and other countries too.
ISO Make the World Scare 2014. They have put Medrickton videos on all kinds of executions, such as people getting hanged and get thrown off the roofs and so on. They have made there where people live in West have went down to Syria and Iraq to battle for us. They look on themselves like a cross train going to make the world better. And the end of the 2014, USA and other countries such as England had dropped bomb over Syria and Iraq.
This is terrifying news, but the world has reacted and it's begun to fight against them. And they're trying to make the situation better, which it's good, but a lot of people lost their lives every day in the war.
The 70-year-old Pakistani Malala Yousafzai and the 60-year-old Kailash Satyarthi got the Nobel Peace Prize 2014. Both get the prize for their battle against oppression of children and adults who get the right to go to school. Malala is the youngest that have ever gotten a Nobel Peace Prize, and they are being called father and daughter, even though they aren't even related. Malala was already one of the favorites in fuel after her battle against the Taliban and their extreme violence.
This is good news, and it's good that a 17-year-old can come up with such good things and have the motivation to keep on fighting for peace, and we need these people, because it's a lot of wars going on right now.
The forest fire in Westmanland 2014 is a terrifying thing that escalated on June 31st, year 2014 in a clear area in the northwest part of Surahammars commune. This is Sweden's biggest forest fire. Since the 1950s, the forest fire occurred in long-term heat and the forest started to dry out, and eventually the fire was turning out on a 30 times 30 meters field, and as was recalled. The fire turned out really big and the planes from other countries flew over to help us. Only some few people got to keep their houses, and the forest will never be the same.
We think it's bad because a lot of people lost their houses and 3 got burned, so we lost a lot of money, and it's cost a lot to extinguish the fire. But the good thing is, we can improve to the next time something similar happened.
Malaysia Airlines Flight 370 was a scheduled international passenger flight that disappeared on Saturday, 8 March 2014 while flying from Kuala Lumpur International Airport, Malaysia to Beijing Capital Airport in Beijing, China. The flight was last made contact with air traffic controller around 1 o'clock when it went over the South China Sea, less than an hour after takeoff, and the aircraft basically disappeared, nowhere to be seen. The military radar couldn't even see them. It had 239 people on it from 15 different nations. This is definitely not a good thing. A lot of people have died, but a good thing is that we found a lost plane. And with the help of the black box, we could improve to the next time and fix the problem that happened this time. Marcus Notch Persson, the founder of Minecraft, has completed an offer that most game developers would die for. However, Marcus seemed more than excited as news broke that he sold his company to Microsoft for $2.5 billion. I don't want to be a symbol responsible for anything huge that I don't understand. That keeps coming back to me. I'm not an entrepreneur. I'm a nerdy computer programmer who likes to have opinions on Twitter, he said.
I think it's an awesome offer, and it's a good game. Marcus is rich now, so he don't have to work anymore. But we hope that he will keep on producing games.
The September 17th, two advanced Russian airplanes roamed Swedish airfields. A Swedish attack plan set destination to the Russian plane, but they didn't turn around. They just turned right flat out to show off their weapons. Then two more Swedish planes were sent out against the Russian plane. This is the most scariest thing that have happened to Sweden in a long time now, and we can expect more similar situations in the near future. The super election year 2014. The super election year proved to be a surprise election. Social Democrats won the election against the Alliance and became government with the Greens, but the budget fell when SD voted for the Alliance budget, which led to the government fell and then triggered a new election. But it was cancelled because the Alliance agreed to negotiate and they all agreed. New election was cancelled and they are all satisfied, with the exception of SD, who would probably increase in votes if there were to be a new election.
I think it's good that the new election didn't go through, because it would have cost Sweden a lot of money, and it would have taken a lot of time before we can rebuild the government.
October 31st, a marine with name Stephen Olaf took a photo on a submarine deep down in Stockholm's skärgård. A similar situation happened when a submarine appears the same day in Stavnes. HMS in Malmö sent out people to search for those, but they did not find anything. But experts think it's a Russian submarine that either spying or training. War in Israel has stepped up a bit when 3 Israeli citizens get kidnapped, will lead to an offensive situation with the West Bank, and 500 of them went to jail and 10 were killed. In Mainville, a boy got kidnapped and gets burned alive, and Gaza started to hire up their guns against Israel. The 8th July, Israel started a campaign called Proactive Edge against Gaza to counter their armies. On August 26, the war ended. Around 2,000 people were killed.
Of course a war isn't good, but it's not a lot to talk about. The main reason is that they have different religions and it's led to a long-time war. And it does not look like it's going to end in the near future either, so we think they should stop this as soon as possible. The year when Ebola spread fear all over the world. Ebola is a disease that spread fear all over the world. Ebola started in Guinea and spread to Liberia and Sierra Leone. Ebola is a disease that might kill you and the chances are low that you will survive it. The way it spreads is all kind of human liquid with a person who has Ebola. In the meanwhile, the news have been overreacting and made people more scared than they should be. We think that Russia will take over Finland and Belgium and then take over Sweden. And all will panic and flee, and it looks like the next world war is about to happen. We think about 1 million soldiers will die and a lot of civil people in the way too. It's going to be problems with oil and make a huge impact on Germany. And we think NATO will begin to bomb Russian bases in Finland. And it does not look good for us.